is Lady Talisa Andrewz again, and I'm coming to you with regards to the controversy that continues to go on with Dr. Bill Cosby. The Associated Press released some information on last week in which it sounded as if Dr. Cosby was admitting to willfully drugging women without their knowledge for sex. That was not the case. This is why reading is fundamental, people. Not only is reading fundamental, but so is listening. The Associated Press asked an open-ended question which you cannot get a definitive answer to, because the attorneys that ask the question, when you ask an open-ended question, that deals with generalities and not with specifics. So if you ask a person that is sexually active, do you have sex? That person says yes, probably with the mindset that you're speaking of one specific individual. You ask that person, do you take drugs before having sex? Or do you have a drink before having sex? That person's answer, yes. That's the only part of the information that is released to the public. But at no point was the follow-up question, which logically should have been, when you were having sex with a specific individual, name one of the 24 or 25 individuals that have claimed that they were drugged and raped by Dr. Cosby. Did they know that they were taking these drugs? Did they knowingly have sex with you? None of that information was released. So when you say that he admitted to having sex with these women, that he did admit to. He never admitted to raping these women. And if you are a woman or man or anyone for that nature, you would be a fool to have an individual that you don't know come up to you, offer you a drug, and you willingly take it without questioning what it is or what their intent is. I further have a problem with the people that still continue to come out against Dr. Cosby. You can remember to go to an attorney 40 years later, but no one could remember to go to the police the night of the incident or the day after or even 2 days after, because you say he was so powerful. But he is more powerful and more financially established today than he was 40 years ago. And then some of these stories are absolutely ridiculous. For the woman that claimed that she had or was forced to have oral sex with Dr. Cosby in 1971 before an appearance on the Johnny Carson show, and that he forced his penis into your mouth. From what I understand, when you're having oral sex, you have to assume the position. So what happened? Did he force it in before you got on your knees, or were you standing and somehow his penis went up and over? Please explain that to me. And then come to find out, after further research, you weren't even scheduled on an appearance with Johnny Carson on the same night that he was. And then for this other chick who was down there, whose statute of limitations has not run off in Los Angeles, talking about you was at the Playboy Mansion. You are a known stripper. Shout out to all the strippers. This ain't nothing against y'all. You are also a known prostitute. And then all of a sudden, you come to court with a freshly injected lip Botox injection, sitting there with a top with holes in it, a bustier with your lawyer looking like Bozo the Clown, looking thirsty, like he having a climatic moment looking at you while he's supposed to be giving an interview. Your claims were never grounded, and your case was thrown out. Did anyone read about that? And oh, yes, yes, yes. Then we have you, Janice Dickerson, again, who admitted in your book that Dr. Cosby slammed the door in your face. You said that you was bullied by his attorneys and to print that. Then you changed your story after you were confronted and said that the publishers made you do it. Now you have Gloria Allred as your attorney, and she's the attorney for several of these women. How y'all gonna listen to her in court? If you get one more injection in your face, Gloria, they're gonna need a ventriloquist to try this case. So stop coming out with all of this crap talking about you was raped. Rape is a very serious crime. And don't come at me and other people that are supporting Dr. Cosby and saying, oh, you're for rapists. I'm not for a rapist. I am for the truth. And then you again, Beverly Johnson, you remember distinctly taking the pill, waking up. You was already drugged. You was so inebriated that he drugged you down the steps I remember when you said, I said, let me call him the next morning. And his wife answered the phone and you said, you mother effer, you bastard, how dare you give me the number to your wife's bedroom. You could remember his personal number, but you couldn't remember 911. Girl, bye. Go sit down somewhere. Let me make this very clear. Yes, Bill Cosby had some sexual interactions, some sex with women that were not his wife back at the time. He was at the Playboy Mansion 99% of the time. But Hugh Hefner goes, lays in bed with these young girls. They drink, they have drugs, they all have sex together. He get a reality show. But Dr. Cosby go and have sex in the Playboy Mansion, and then he's labeled a serial rapist, but doesn't go to jail for one crime. And then for all of you universities and establishments that no longer want to be associated with the life of Bill Cosby, you can remove his name, you can take down his bustier, but did you write a check back for all the donations that you received? That's how I know you about that life, because my money is me. And when you disassociate with me, you disassociate with my bank account. And stop going after Whoopi Goldberg, who said in the court of public opinion, he is being tried and he's being found guilty. Not in the court of law, not at any time did she say he was guilty, because I still firmly believe he is not guilty of rape. Guilty of sexual improprieties against his wife, indeed. But rape, no, no, no. He is not guilty of rape. And I would further like to say, I read another article this morning that Betty Rubber was raped too. He was with her in bedrock and gave her a Roctosaurus pill. She didn't know what it was either. She didn't call the police because they didn't have phones. That's how ridiculous all these stories sound. Thank you and goodbye.